The goal of the state CRM project is to collect, clean, consolidate, and conserve data, the 4 C's, to improve overall data quality and to leverage that data to empower both national and our affiliates to grow the overall party. A CRM is a customer relationship management system. There are various types of CRMs which are focused on different aspects of data and relationships. For instance, Razor's Edge, which is used by LP National, is focused on fundraising. eCanvasser is geared more towards campaigns, which are short-term, relatively speaking. By contrast to those, the State CRM project is meant to be a long-term data retention tool so that our states and our national party can leverage that data over the long term. So let's talk about the 4 C's, starting with collecting data. We have data in various buckets and islands and at different levels of the party. We have lots of data in various states of disrepair and not linked together in any way. Are you aware that in 2016 the National Party bought Aristotle data for every registered Libertarian in the country? I can tell you the state parties didn't know that and could have used that data. The next C is cleaning data. We have conflicting data for various contacts. The data is in various formats: Google Sheets, Excel spreadsheets, some service like Nation Builder, Razor's Edge, various people's heads, whatever. This occurs because the data is being kept by different people with differing levels of vigilance, differing methodologies, and differing understandings of the importance of that data. We want to standardize the formatting of our data in order to better retain it. The next C is consolidating data. To avoid recreating the multiple buckets of incomplete data, we need a single point where all the data is aggregated into the latest and best known versions. As any person works on the data, they improve the data for future usage. Today, national and affiliates have no real idea of what the other is doing regarding contacting constituents, so we can't track if we're over-communicating. Because, don't forget, to the end constituent, they don't know the difference between the national, state, or county party. And the final C is conserving data. So much data has been lost over the years due to technical errors, turnover in state affiliates, campaigns ending without saving the data anywhere, and even intentional sabotage. We must not lose data. More than ever before, knowledge is power. To quote Schoolhouse Rock, we must stop losing data. Our state affiliates often do not have the financial resources that National does, but they're also on the ground and have the best chances of organically growing the party at the county level. County affiliates then can focus on building an army of volunteers for door knocking, phone banking, and other get-out-the-vote activities. So let's take a moment to go back and understand how we got here. The IT committee from the 2016 to 2018 LNC term accomplished several great things. The most critical among them was that we fixed LP.org, which had been crashing regularly after the changes by the previous IT committee of 14 to 16. And we saved money while we were at it to the tune of approximately $1,750 per month. We were also able to save the content from the previous iteration of the website, which was content from 2008 to 2016, and bring it over to the new one. Another accomplishment, we updated and consolidated email services with savings totaling approximately $350 per month. That brought the total savings to approximately $2,100 per month, or $25,000 per year, while also having a more modernized infrastructure. We also facilitated the repair and rebirth of Lpedia. We found a hosting provider, provided space for the spam cleanup, and then turned that all over to the Historic Preservation Committee. As we completed those tasks around mid-2017, we asked Andy Burns, affiliate support specialist, to join our IT committee calls to give input on where the IT committee could help affiliate support improve IT for all affiliates. Andy noted that states were struggling handling data and were mostly left to fend for themselves. National data dumps, state membership lists, and voter registration data were all being inadequately used. Additionally, the National Party had purchased Aristotle data in 2016, but there was no place for states to leverage this data, and there were issues with websites being mismanaged or just being ineffective. Andy noted that he had helped a handful of states implement both CiviCRM and NationBuilder. He explained that affiliates who were using CiviCRM would usually have difficulty, mostly due to turnover in the IT of a state, and would call back a couple of years later with their CRM in a state of complete disrepair, requiring significant intervention, and sometimes with a complete data loss having already occurred. The affiliates using NationBuilder were spending hundreds of dollars per month, reducing their overall ability to spend funds on outreach and growth. And often, the data would again go stale, or worse, get corrupted or deleted, as no one would maintain NationBuilder at the state level due to IT turnover. And so, finding a platform for state affiliates became the new focus of the IT committee. We created criteria and investigated solutions. The criteria were that the solution had to be scalable, affordable for any affiliate, appropriate data shared to the appropriate levels, able to be made better by those using the data, a balance of flexibility and data security, not expensive if an affiliate was just parking data, integrate tightly with the CMS front end, their website, and ability to get volunteers into the system quickly when an affiliate decides to get active. We investigated options. Based on the criteria, the IT committee believed that only a handful of potential options were available. In examining commercial products, they did not make the cut due to the cost or a lack of data segmentation, leaving only open source options. After a few trial installs of various open source CRM products, it was determined that CiviCRM, which began development in 2004 as a CRM for politics, was the correct choice. During this time, we also investigated the legality of the project. Current FEC regulations allow for state affiliates, regardless of their FEC status, to receive services from an FEC filing national party, provided those services fall under the category of party building. Now armed with all of this information, we lobbied the LNC for initial funds to create a pilot project. A $5,000 expenditure was approved to pilot the program at the LNC meeting in Kansas City in August of 2017. The pilot showed initial success and great promise. We built a multi-year plan and went back to the LNC to lobby for $45,000 for custom development to enable volunteers at any level of the party to quickly get into the system and make phone calls to organize locally. This development was dubbed the Simplified CiviCRM User Dashboard and was critical for the goal of getting volunteers into the system and able to make phone calls quickly without hours of training. The LNC approved this expenditure at the LNC meeting immediately preceding the 2018 National Convention. The full $45,000 was raised specifically for the development project. The funds raised were unfortunately borrowed to pay off the 2018 National Convention, which had unfortunately had its funds borrowed for other projects. Development on the simplified CiviCRM user dashboard stalled as money became tight. While we were waiting for the funding, we worked on the 4 C's for various state parties, importing their data and merging in Secretary of State and Razor's Edge data. In early to mid-2019, fundraising picked up for the National Party, and the borrowed funds raised for the project were replaced, and development resumed. In November 2019, the simplified Civi CRM user dashboard went live, and we began giving access to region and county level leadership. In late 2019 and early 2020, the states that were onboarded the earliest, with the IT directors that were the most involved, began to leverage the Call Next functionality, which was enabled by the dashboard, to contact other libertarians. In spring of 2020, we transitioned our convention credentials system to the CRM. This replaced a homemade system that had been in use since 2008 and allowed states to retain this information for their records and the Credentials Committee to log in and credential. We also managed LNC2020.com to process convention packages, though refunded packages and direct transactions were not properly tracked in the state CRM project and will need to be revisited in the future. In mid-2020, we integrated with the Joe campaign. Currently, media contact data has been merged into the state CRM system for all states to use, and we are prepared to absorb the campaign data once that campaign is ready to send that to the national party. In July 2020, we moved all non-donation sign-up forms for the national party over to the CRM, meaning that data reaches the states and counties immediately and is also sent to Razor's Edge and imported into Razor's Edge in the normal process flow. Also in July of 2020, we recreated existing donation forms for the national party in the state CRM. However, these forms are not live yet. Further discussion is necessary on the process flow, efficiency, and data merge issues when not everything is running through a single system. In August 2020, we started on the first phase of integrating constituent issues when new people sign up, so we can leverage micro-targeting in the future. And as noted previously, we are prepared to receive the data from the Jorgensen campaign in mid to late 2020. Today, there are 23 states in the project, with over 20 more in the queue. So let's talk about some of the current hurdles. Some delays and diversions have occurred, deviating from the original project plan. As a result, onboarding states has slowed significantly, and affiliates are really struggling trying to accomplish the ETL, extract, transform, and load process for data conversion on their own. A number of states have been in line to get on board for quite some time, and we need to catch up and continue the progress of onboarding states. Currently, the system is not tied to any phone banking system, requiring people to make calls from their own phone. Generally, people are encouraged to obtain a Google Voice phone number and use that for making calls. But that also means that the caller ID is not the state or county party making the calls, but individuals. The NDA that the previous LNC passed has a flaw that needs to be corrected, and the LNC made it so that only the LNC can draft that NDA. There is suggested language for the modification of that NDA at the end of this presentation. With outlining the current hurdles, it's also important to remember that the state CRM project is a work in progress. It can always be improved, and we will continually strive to make it better. As we bring new states and new features online, we learn new ways to do things better, incorporating that learned knowledge into the system. Today, the 23 states in the system are able to take advantage of the following features. Each state site is integrated with the CRM, allowing for display of data segments on their website, for example, candidates, elected officials, and local affiliates. And front-end forms are automated to eliminate manual data entry. We have integrated user management, allowing for one login, or SSO, to control appropriate levels of the website content and data access in the CRM. Any volunteer who has signed the NDA can be given access. Affiliates can control their own information and for their sub-affiliates and candidates. Regional and county affiliate leaders can add content to websites, including events and blogs. Contacts are automatically permissioned to the appropriate party level, whether that's the state region, or county, based upon their address. Addresses are normalized to USPS standards and communicate with Google to fill in missing address information, such as counties, zip codes, etc. Normalization of data occurs, including name, email, phone, and address. We have integrated contributions with the website using Stripe, Authorize.net, or PayPal. This permits a seamless experience for the donor, increasing confidence and completion. Contribution pages are now also available to multiple levels of the party, not just the state party, but to state regions and county affiliates as well, who can now all leverage the CRM. We have membership management, based on the criteria set by a state on what constitutes a member of their party. Membership reports can quickly show who's a member and who's not. We have volunteer management. We can now track who signed up and whether or not they showed up, so we can learn who is a reliable volunteer. We have event management, which lets people sign up for events and get reminders of those upcoming events. We track who has attended which events to get an idea of who has been to what training or who is interested in a particular topic. We have the ability to manage email blasts to any segment of the database. This is enabled through SparkPost, which is functionality paid for by each state party. We have media data integrated from the Joe campaign so that states can manage media contacts. This can also be tied into SparkPost to enable sending press releases to appropriate outlets. We have convention credentialing support, so various parties can track who was a delegate to their conventions over time. We have the ability to do text banking by tying into affiliate-funded Twilio accounts. We have begun Phase 1 of issue segmentation, which tracks what issues are most important to our constituents. Contacts can be segmented based on their important issues. We continue to have an IT directors group that meets monthly, and we have started an IT mentor program to help states stay up to date on the latest developments, collaborate with other states, and enhance their state's use of the CRM. We've also created a CRM users group where users can collaborate with other users and begin to learn how to better use the system. But you don't have to just take our word for it. Christy Kendrick, the Kentucky membership director, notes that the Kentucky Party is now able to focus their energies on outreach and growing the base, and she would encourage other state affiliates to take advantage of the system. Brian Shields, the state chair of New Hampshire, says that the project is worth whatever investment is made into it tenfold. Laura Lane, chair of Alabama, says that it is a fantastic tool that keeps getting better. And Jared, the state chair of Nebraska, says that their state website is better than ever. They've been focusing on starting new affiliates this year, and so the CRM has helped speed that up. And they've been using it to inform libertarians about their new affiliates and those meetings. So where does the project go from here? We predict that 40 to 48 affiliates will eventually use the system, knowing that there are always a few that insist on doing it their way. And that's fine. It's all voluntary. Our project plan still contains a potential move to incorporate and replace Razor's Edge. On a related note, the IS Committee of 2018 to 2020 voted to recommend replacing Razor's Edge with the state CRM project, with the migration to begin after the 2020 election. For the remainder of 2020 and through 2021, we plan to use Ken Molman's time to help states prepare their data, the ETL process, to get the onboarding process back on track. We have found that affiliates are struggling with the ETL process, and Ken will be helping with this. In late 2020, we will be rolling out Phase 2 of our Issues and Behaviors segmentation. Micro-targeting will enable us to focus messaging appropriately. This is a priority, and storing this information for the long term is something we have never previously done. In 2021, we can look at Phase 3, which is attempting to integrate directly with L2 data via an API. If National joins the CRM for member processing, we will be able to improve National member retention by automating the sequence of touches, including phone calls, surveys, upgrades, and membership renewal reminders. Also in 2021, we would like to more broadly roll out the SMS blasts. This functionality works for national and states, but currently has limitations. This will help us extend to connecting to phone banking service as well, and work towards enabling calls to be made directly from the CRM using the state party's caller ID. Thank you for your time today.